All right, guys and girls, we're gonna try to attempt to make a bow and maybe a string and some arrows, or put together some arrows, probably in 7 or 8 hours. It is right now it's 8:30 in the morning. I think it's May the 19th. I got a hickory tree right here. I got a hickory tree. It's probably about 5 inches in diameter at the base. It don't have any, it's a clean tree. It don't have any vines or anything on it. That's probably kind of tree you'd want to find. You find a tree that's got any vines on it, that means it's probably not as healthy of a tree. A tree that's really healthy and growing well, it resists vines and parasites and fungi and stuff like that from growing on it. But anyhow, I'm just going to try to use basic hand tools. I'm trying to use a hatchet to cut this tree down and rough it out. All right, guys. It's 9 o'clock, so I cut this tree down at 8:30. It's 9 o'clock. I cut 2 sections out of it, but I went ahead and chose to use a smaller section. And I'll rough it out. I'm gonna try to rough it out with this hatchet. Try to figure out what side's gonna be a good side to rough, to rough it out. You want to try to get the hickory's a tension strong wood, not compression. So if you can find a limb, you can actually get a hickory tree, find a big hickory tree, and find a limb and use actually the bottom half of the limb, the compression side of the limb, and that'll give you actually a better bow if you can do that. You can find a big tree and just cut a big limb off and use the bottom side of the limb, because that'll be the compression strong wood on that limb. And this hickory right here is cut in the spring. I mean, it's South Carolina and it's getting close to May, so anytime you get to it, if you can get a tree while it's growing, when it first comes out of dormant, the bark peels off of it, so that's a good thing. It makes it a lot easier. That way you don't have to peel the bark off. That way you don't have to scrape the bark off with a draw knife. You just pull it off. But anyhow, I'm gonna try to rough this thing out with this hatchet. This hatchet works pretty good. Just to rough it out. I'm gonna mark a center line on it. Let's see. Got here. I seen Ryan Gill, that's how he marked the center line on his bow he made. I seen, and he made it out of primitive tools. So that's how that's why I decided to do it like that. A lot of this stuff, most of this stuff I'm be doing is what I've seen other people do on YouTube too. But I've been making bows for 20 years, and I've been heat treating them, since the beginning. But other videos where they had different techniques of heat treating it or fire hardening it, that's what I'm gonna do. Try to get a bow done in a few hours. Because hickory is a tough wood, it can tolerate a lot. I mean, other woods would just blow up, but you can make a bow. If you can get this wood dried out if you can get it dried out where there's no moisture in it, somehow it'll shoot very, very fast. but it's going to want to absorb moisture just fast, really fast too. But if you can keep it dry, if there's some way you can keep some heat to it, keep it dry, it shoots very fast. Hopefully I'm gonna put this thing through the chronograph. Hopefully if y'all see this video, it's gonna be a good hunting, I mean a really good bow. If it's not a good bow, I ain't gonna have a video of it. But if it turns out y'all see this video, it's probably gonna end up being a good bow. I'm gonna rough this thing out a little bit. But it won't take me long to rough this thing out. Start right here at the handle. And then I'm gonna flip it over like this. Like that. And then either I can knock it off with that hatchet. I'm not gonna knock it off the hatchet though, I'm gonna do it a little bit easier. So, what I'm gonna do is take another little piece of hatchet, or you can probably use a lot of different things. Just trying to dig in a little bit. Too bad. Every tree is different. Some of it will split easier. Some of it grain. It's crazy. But every tree is different. Pig nut, there's a lot of varieties of hickory. They all, pecan's a variety of hickory, pig nut, I think skelly bark, all, and they can all, I think, interbreed with each other. So there's all kinds of varieties. Pig nut, one real smooth bark's the best. Found out that it's easiest to work with too. Usually the easier the wood is to work with, the better bow it'll make a lot of time.
Well, if I have shortcuts, then maybe not. I ain't got but a little bit of video, so I'm gonna have to shut it off and see what happens in a few minutes.
Alright. I gave myself a little bit more room here now. Hopefully this piece of a hatchet right here, or chisel, whatever you want to call it, I'll have more room to get the right angle. You want to make sure this has probably got enough angle here, so to try to split straight down. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm trying to work fast, and sometimes it don't work out when you're trying to do that. But let's see if I can get this here off. You can also make your bowstring out of this inner bark, which is the only living part of the tree, is this inner bark up under the hard bark right here. Vascular column is what it's called. But you can peel this off. And I've seen Clay Hayes stitch a quiver up with this, and you can make a bowstring out of it. I never made a bowstring out of it, but I've seen people on YouTube do it. Here you go. That's how it's supposed to go. The other side here split when tree was falling, and that's why it didn't come right off like that. But that's how it's supposed to do. And then the bark should just peel right off this thing. Might get a little bit too late for that. But you wanna. Last year I had made a video of one out of gum, because I seen Keith Shannon shoot one him out of gum. It shot faster than the hickory, and I kind of rushed it a little bit too much, and I put a little indention in the back here, my first growth ring, and I shot it for about probably shot 40 or 50 times before it broke, and I actually ended up shooting at a deer with it the next day off the ground, but I missed it. But you know, it was a 70-something pound bow, 75-pound bow, you know, at 20-inch draw. You know, it had a lot of power. I guess if you was it worked, but it didn't work. Like I said, I rushed it, and depending on how you tiller these bows is the life expectancy of them. If you want to get if you want them to last forever, then you know you're going to have to sacrifice some speed and moisture in the bow. You're going to there's a happy medium to making bows where they'll last a long time. Anybody can make a bow. Anybody can make a bow that'll kill a deer. It's just how long is it going to last, you know? And that's going to depend on a lot of factors, you know. You just don't ever know what you're going to end up with, how good the wood's going to be. You know, there's so many factors into it. Every tree's different. Type of wood you select. No matter how good you get at making bows, you're always learning something. But anyhow, it is 9:17. I'm starting to rough this thing out, and I'm gonna keep working on it and reducing it down. All right, guys and girls, I got it's 9:25, so been about an hour and getting close to an hour and a half now. I cut this tree down, it's alive. Cut 2 sections out of it. But anyhow, I got see what I got now. I got it getting roughed out a little bit. I mean, starting to reduce it down. You know, here's my handle right here, and I'm just trying to reduce it down. trying to look at it and see where the whole time I'm working on this, I want to see how the bow visualizing what the where the tips are going to be and all that while you're working on it. So anyhow, before in the past I just done it with a hatchet, and this little hatchet right here works good. I mean, you can, when you get close, you can really do it. Really, I mean, you can just make a bow out of this and it works great. I mean, you just got to be more careful. Here last couple of times I made bows, Ryan Gill, I was watching him on YouTube, and he was using a big small hatchet or knife, but so I tried it, and it works great. It works even better, it's more controlled. So I learned something on that, so that was really helpful. So instead of that, I'm gonna start using this here. You know, I get down real thin, I start getting down real where I got to be more careful. Start using this hatchet right here, or knife, whatever you want to call it. It's like a big, between a hatchet and a knife. That's what he was using. Never tried it. I had it and I never tried it, but it works great. So I can rough this thing out. Now, getting the shape of the bow ain't nothing. That's the easy part. I mean, it's just cutting the bow out. Ain't nothing. It's all about tillering. That's how, and we're not going to be doing a good job tilling. This is going to be a one-day bow, so I'm going to make a string for a primitive string, shoot it, and we'll see how it turns out, and then I'll make another video later on. We'll see how long it'll last, how many shots we can put through it. That and the string. But this is my first video, so I'm just this might be my first video. I need to get another card, so I have to kind of go off and on with the camera. But anyhow, I got it starting to get it thinned out. I'm gonna keep thinning it, and then I'm gonna start narrowing the tips down a little bit. And you got to do this if you're gonna fire harden it or heat treat it or however you're gonna dry it quick. You got to get this wood thin or it'll split. It's gonna have more chance of splitting. So if you can get it thin, the thinner you can get it, the closer you can get this thing to your final, you know, when it's soaking wet with moisture like this, it might be a 20-pound bow, and then once all the moisture's out of it, you end up with a 70-pound bow if you do it just right. But there's a lot of luck. There's a little bit of luck involved in that too. And I wish I had some arrows to dry. I don't have no arrows, no cane arrows, because you can make you an arrow the same way. I'm gonna have to do that another day. Another way the Indians would actually cut their trees down is that actually instead of using anything, they would just build a fire around the base of the tree, let it burn down, and then take the other end of it and lay over the fire and burn that in, and then it was cut both ends. That way you save a lot of work doing it that way. Alright, well, we start working on it. You see what I got now, man. Won't be much longer. I gotta start slowing down a little bit. I wanna mess this one up. All right, it is 9:44 now, and you can kind of see the profile looks like now on it. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and start. It's starting to flex a little bit, so I am I'm going to go and start the fire. And when hopefully that fire be burned down. And I'm gonna take my rasp and smooth it out and kind of see if I can bend it. I'm just gonna eyeball it and kind of like a survival situation, I guess. Kind of just use hand tools and kind of eyeball it and put a primitive string on it and try to finish it out that way. All right, it is 9:54. I'm gonna light a fire, and I watched a video with Chad Beckham and Keith Shannon on fire hardening, which is pretty awesome. I got their videos, pretty awesome. And Chad Beckham, his first videos, I don't know if his first videos or not, but Chad Beckham has got some awesome videos. If y'all haven't seen his channel or he's got some awesome videos you can get. I really enjoyed those. But anyhow, I'm starting this fire. If you want your wood to burn real hot, like charcoal, you need to have it good and dry. Either cut it up and put it in your car on a hot summer day, or your attic or whatever, or heat box. But if you can get all the moisture out of the wood, the fire will have a lot better killing, a lot hotter. Almost like charcoal. It'll burn hot like charcoal. And this wood, some of this wood ain't completely dry like I'd like it, but we're gonna see how it works. All right, it's 10:15 now, and here's what the bow looks like. I'm taking a rasp and cleaning it up, trying to make it flat and eyeballing it. I made a lot of bows so I can kind of eyeball it and know what to look for. But make it long because you can shorten it up. You know, it's easier to get the heat treat more even too. But I'm gonna make it long and a little bit wider, because the best way to tiller a bow is fire harden is by making it more narrow. You don't want to work the belly as less as you can. I mean, and that, you know, that just depends on how you. Hopefully I can take some off, a little bit off the sides. But that's the best way to do it if you make it the right width. And like I said, I'm not sure, but make it too long and too wide. And I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna go right up the road and get some yucca and make a string here while this thing's cooking, because you got to keep an eye on it. Might as well be doing something else while your bow's making. Might as well make a string while you're doing that too. All right, I'm gonna show y'all while I'm working this rasp here. This fire's burning. You get a narrow handle, since there's so much moisture in this wood. You know, hopefully I don't heat it up too fast and split it. But a working handle or a thinner handle is gonna work a lot better when you're trying to dry it out fast, because the more even this wood is, the better, less chance of splitting and stuff like that. But what I'm doing, basically, another technique I got from let's see, it come to me, but I don't know why I can't remember it. But looking down the bow, looking down while you're rasping it, you get a better view. Sometimes you can close your eye, get your dominant eye on it, kind of look down it like that. You know, get it looking right and regular, you know, before you can start bending it. Look down it and see if everything looks even. And another tip, you got arrows, you want to build arrows fast and you ain't got good arrow material, you got river cane, but the river cane's all crooked and you can't find good material, the best way to do it is do it the same way. Have it soaking wet green and go ahead and put it over the fire, or put it over a fire or stove or anything, and start working it right while it's real green. Keep straightening it while it's green, because when it dries all the way out, you can't straighten it, you know, if you can't get good material like a lot of guys do. So that's what I started doing. You know, since I wasn't able to find a patch of river cane that was, you know, the best, you know, it had a lot of knots and crooks in it. And I shot deer with the crooked arrows for a long time, but then I started, I think I watched Clay Hayes on making like a survival bow out of cedar, and I watched him straighten them out while they were green, and so that's what I started doing too. And that's, you know, if you ain't got really good air material, that's definitely what I would do. But I'm roughing this bow out. Just eyeballing it. It's a lot easier to work it when it's wet. There ain't no reason. Whitewood, since it's a sapwood, it decays, moisture and oxygen, bugs get to it. The faster you dry it out and kill anything that decayed a wood, you know, probably it's going to prevent it. Actually, it'll make the bow last longer, probably. Probably be more resistant to decaying. This ain't got no sap resins in it. All good wood like Osage, you dry it out fast, it'll blow up, it'll shatter. Can't dry it out, but hickory can. If you don't dry hickory out by heat, with either a hot box and put a lot of heat to it, or fire or something. I haven't had good luck making, you know, you're not gonna have a high performance bow. You'll have a good hunting bow, but you won't have a high performance bow. Right now, this bow is about 68 inches. I didn't think it would be that long, but I'm gonna leave it stiff. I'm gonna leave it a little bit thicker down here. So I want to take some wood off of it, shorten this bow up. Because the Indians, I think the reason they use shorter bows is because the string material stretched a lot. So the shorter the rope is, or the shorter your string is, the less stretch you have. So, you know, you get more. It's easier to get some more performance. You got a long bow and you got sinew string, it stretch a mile. You're probably not going to get, you know, as much. You're not going to get as much performance out of the bow. I mean, it's not going to. The benefits of having a longer bow to get some more speed is going to be actually counter. It's not going to work that way because your string's going to stretch so much. Your string's going to be heavier. Primitive string stretches a whole lot more, stretches more, and it's heavier. So. The bow's hunting a bow that you could actually hunt with is the easiest thing to make. The arrows and the points and all that good stuff is string and all that stuff takes just as much time or more. But anyhow, I'm gonna keep working on this. Let's see. I'm starting to get the bend. Starting to bend like that. And I'm just glad to keep eyeballing it because, of course, one side of it's all different, twisted and a different shape than this perfect side. I didn't get a perfect tree, but it'll make it. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out to be a good bow. It's just going to be a lot harder to tiller since it ain't. It's got these little. Takes a lot longer when you got these little bends and stuff when you're trying to tiller, especially eyeballing it. While your fire's burning down, it's always good to have baked potato or some chicken, because I mean, you got this pit right here. You can't cook no better food than off this hickory, this hot dry hickory wood. I mean, you just put your potato in there beside the fire, and either you can get you some stacked bricks up and let the heat come out the end and cook some chicken or pork, whatever you want to, while you're building your bow too. That's always a good idea. There ain't no point in wasting good wood, because this here will cook better than any stove. So I'll go ahead and stick my potato in there, and by the time it starts getting done, I just throw a piece of steak, deer cube steak or something on there, and cook it up real fast, a few minutes, and I have me a good meal. I'm just, you know, want to do it real easy. That's what I'm gonna do. But last couple of times I cooked chicken and put some chicken on there. Boy, that was some good, best chicken I ever had. All right, it is 11:04, and I'm about to cut me some. This is called Spanish Yucca or Spanish dagger, and I made a lot of bowstrings out of this stuff. Some of them break, and some of them I get 100 shots out of them and they break, and then I started oiling them down, and that kind of resolved that. But I found this yucca right here, I haven't broke one yet with nothing on it, so we'll see. I think it's just like it would. You get a certain plant that's stronger than others. This here's got thinner leaves on it, and for whatever reason, I'm thinking this might be a lot stronger than the real wide ones. It's harder to process, but this is what we're going to try to make string out of. Alright guys and girls, it's 11:30 right now, and I have cut this tree down at 8, I think it was 8:30, and I then got it roughed out, got it bending. Starting to look pretty good. I think I'm gonna do it like that. Look pretty good. Hopefully it don't turn out too stiff. I might take just a little bit more off of it. But I got my yucca cut to make my bowstring. I'm gonna put this thing and I'm gonna spread these coals out. Spread this fire out, or coals, whatever, and here in a minute or so, I'm gonna look over this bow one more time. It looks pretty good. It's got a pretty good kind of see. I don't know if you see the bend in it. It's got one limb. Here's the other limb. It's kind of tricky right in here, but I'm gonna look over it one more time and stick it on fire. All right, as you can see, y'all can see, I got the bow on here, and I didn't put it in a jig because it's easier to heat treat it this way, and you'll end up with a bow that can be better than one that's actually reflexed. So, and it's easier to heat treat, so that's why I did it this way. A wood bow, you can tiller it in certain areas of the limb to make it shoot faster. A fiberglass bow, you can't do that. Once it's glued up, it's a done deal. But with a wood bow, you can work the limbs in certain areas to gain more speed out, so you can actually have a straight bow that shoots faster than a recurve or a reflexed bow. So anyhow, we're just gonna stick it on the fire and spread the coals out good and even, and hopefully it ain't too hot. And we're gonna go ahead and heat this thing up and see what happens. All right, I'm back. Just eat my good old deer steak, and tell you that I cooked over the fire. It was really good. It's almost 12 o'clock right now, and I'm going to show y'all how to I'm going to go ahead and start making a bowstring. And ain't no point sitting here, and you got to check this thing. You got to stay here and watch it, so you might as well do something else while you're watching it. Usually I do a couple bows at a time, but we're just going to do this one for now. While it's real wet, sometimes you can pick it up and kind of flex it over your leg a little bit and try to straighten some of these bends. Where it's got a little bit more bend in one spot or another, you can kind of, well, I still got a lot of moisture in it, and it's heated up, you can kind of, sometimes you can bend it a little bit and it'll stay there. But anyhow, I got this yucca right here. This is a thinner yucca. It's probably like trees and everything, you know. Most of it, I like the ones that are real wily. Man, they're easy to get enough material to make bowstring pretty quick. But anyhow, what I've started doing now is this thicker area. I'll go ahead and work it on down on the thick side, the top side, all the way down. Make some good even strokes, and I don't care if I get everything off of it, off the fibers. And then just clean it up like that, and you'll see all these fibers, all them little fibers, and you got that waxy stuff around it. I think if you scrape it too much, you might break some of it. But anyhow, I made some good bowstrings. When I was trying to make the same video of this last year, I had no internet. I made a really fast string, and this is the only one that held up. I mean, without any wax or any grease or anything on it. Oil. So I've had it for a year and shot it a good many times with heavy bow. So I'm thinking it might be just the plant, you know. This one's got thin knees, maybe it's older or whatever, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna do this. something works. I made a lot of them, and you know, I make small thin bowstrings, even 3-ply, and shoot them a little while and they dry out and break, you know. Then I'm gonna take, I did the top half, I'm gonna just go about halfway down this thicker section right here and do the other side on. I'm gonna scrape that other halfway down. Like that. And then I'm not even gonna worry too much about that other little stuff on there. I might scrape it just a little bit. I'll get a little bit more off that, maybe. A little bit. I want to get it super clean. I think the fibers, the more you scrape them, the more it kind of damages them. So, got that. I'm gonna start off with about 4, but I'm gonna do 4, and then when I get these done, I'm gonna show y'all how to do the string. Okay, I left here 6 minutes. All right. Alright, I just got me enough yucca right here now, and split it, you know, after when I'm done split it, and I'm gonna start making my loop. So it's just a basic twist away and then twist to you. So I'm gonna do it twist away and then twist to you, and that's basically any bowstrings like that. I'm making it thicker right here in my loop because that's where if it's gonna break, that's where it's got most makes your any bowstring too. It's kind of like adding padding to it. So it makes your synthetic string or anything, add more material to your loop, makes your bowstring shoot quieter. Your bow shoot quieter, and it protects your limbs, tips. So you make a really skinny, you're gonna make a really skinny high performance string, always just add more material to your loop, and you should be fine. And on these strings, they stretch so much, you want to make your loop smaller. It's going to stretch twice as big as it would do. So, like I said, I'm not gonna spend quite as much time on this string, but we're gonna put it through the test and see what happens. It's probably as best big as I'm gonna make it right there. My loop. Then all we'll do is just twist these together. Twist these together like this. Better find one that kind of matches up. So, twist them together like that. And we're going to be working our way down, doing the same thing. Just like this. I do it while it's wet because I think that puts less stress on the fibers of the bowstring. These things are brittle. In my experience, they're brittle, so do it while it's wet. And I mean, I just do I strip about 5 or 6, or 4 or 5, you know, I strip a few at a time and start working my string. And like I said, I've been trying to figure these things out. I made some really small ones that worked great, but I had to soak them in oil. And I imagine you could use animal fat or whatever, but I used extra virgin olive oil, soaked them in there for a week or 2. After I made them, let them dry, bone dry. Then let them soak in oil. Let string soak in olive oil for over time. and then hang them back up and stretch them, get the oil, much oil out of it as I can, and I haven't had one break that way, so that's worth a thought. I think the Indians probably use animal grease or something. They probably finished them out and then rubbed the animal grease or something in there to keep them, you know, from drying out. That would be my guess, anyhow. Not sure, but that's where it's gonna start, and I'm gonna keep finishing up. But I ain't got much video time left, so I'm my bow right here is, hope y'all can see it, it's starting to get a little brown on it. And I don't think it's been on there. It's 12:16 now, so it's been on there about an hour. So fire's still pretty high. I might have to lower it here in a minute. And I can always add fire, build another fire in here and put more heat to it if I need to. But it's starting to look pretty good. All right. Alright, it's 109. It's 109, and been working on the bowstring. And this is what it looks like so far. It's pretty thick, but hopefully it I'm gonna make a heavy poundage bow, so it's gonna get a little bit smaller. But don't make it too thick. But starting to look pretty good. And my bow, alright guys and girls, it is, see, I don't know if you can see me or not, but it's 2 o'clock, a little after 2. Got a bowstring. I'm gonna stretch it, hang it from a tree. You see it? Might be, I think it's definitely long enough. Might have made it a little bit too long, but it looks pretty good. It'll work pretty good. Uh, 2:45, and had to build another fire. It's getting pretty hot, so I really got to be careful watching out for it because it gets too hot. But got this bow back on here heating up. And while I'm waiting, I got some arrows. Got string made now. I'm gonna work on putting together some arrows. These shafts I had, they were really a bit too big for what I wanted, so I have them set aside. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to straighten them out. And that's one thing about when you heat treating a bow, you might as well, you know, while you're watching the bow, just go ahead and make your arrows and string and all that good stuff. It'd be kind of neat to have everything done, the arrows, bow, string, and everything in a couple hours. Something that's going to shoot really fast. You want something that's going to kill anything before we get finished, hopefully. That's the plan anyhow. Alright, it's 4:30. I pulled this bow off the thing. It's been on about 5.5, 6 hours. These edges right here, you want a side tiller bow anyhow if you heat treat it. You don't want to go off belly, unless you have to. Then I'll probably have to do some of that. But all these edges right here is dark. That'll cause it to break. So I'm gonna try to get all of them off, and that's gonna make the bow narrow. That's why you want to start out with a wider, longer bow. That way you make it shorter, get more poundage out of it if you don't end up with enough poundage. You can also cut the length off of it. I was wanting a shorter bow anyhow, but so hopefully I'm hopefully to cut this thing down a little bit. And I'm gonna side tiller it, keep working on it. And it's still hot, so I got to wait a little bit anyhow before I start bending it. But I'll start taking this edge off here. knocking these edges down where it got kind of charred, and then put spring grooves on it, and put that string on it, perimeter string I made.
I'll hopefully get the same and shoot some arrows out of it before it gets dark. That's my plan anyhow. Have a nice bow, you know, if it don't shoot fast, it ain't, you know. Hoping it's gonna shoot good. And last one.
When I first started making hickory bows, and that's what I had, so I worked with one a long time ago. I heat treated them for, I'd shoot them, tiller them, shoot them, and then heat treat them for about 2 hours on each limb, and get them where black like that. And they were some of the fastest shooting bows I ever used. I mean, I'd shoot them for an hour a day for a couple of years, and then a lot of times they would right in the handle here where the growth rings. You leave it too thick right there, it can break loose at the handle. Had issues with that. And with Osage too. All bow woods, I mean, I ain't never had a bow that, even Osage bows, they are night and day when you do heat treating, as far as how good they shoot. Hickory, you can just mess up a lot more. It's so tough of wood, it's so tough. And you don't have to wait till the moisture gets back into the wood. It'll be dry as a bone and it won't break. Most of the time. All the time. You hear it. It hurts your ears. It's so dry. Sanding in the knocks. Cut about 1 inch off the bow on each end. Now I'm gonna put some knocks on it. Put some knocks on the bow. Cut about 1 inch off each end. Alright, it's now 4:30, and I've had this bow on for about, it was about 5.5 hours, and made the string and them arrows. So the Yucca string looks pretty good. My arrows now, I don't know. I just threw them together to shoot out of it. Hopefully I would get knocks on after didn't cut the knocks in, but they probably work. But I just got a fill point on one and metal on the other. Just metal point that I made. Now I got now the hard part starts. I got to see if I can get this thing tillered in a couple hours before it gets dark. I finally got the string on it. It took me a few minutes. Trying to keep this bow heavy, so I ain't using no tillering. I'm doing it basically no measuring tapes, no tillering or nothing. So I mean no tillering board or this limb right here is way weaker, so and I want this here to be my top because I'm shooting left-handed. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit. Look away, play with it, But sometimes we got to give it a minute. Yep. That's all. Now look. Oh, see, this sucker here, I want to say to kill a bull. So I want a bow you can make in a couple hours, but I want it to be a good one. This sucker right here is going to shoot fast as damn carbon fiber bow. Get finished with it. Alright. Well, I'll take a little bit off the belly on this one. Little tiny bit off the side. Alright, I just got string, got both limbs pretty much even. They look pretty good. I'm about to shoot it through chronograph. I got a 600 grain arrow. I'm gonna shoot it through there. Got a 600 grain arrow. I'm gonna shoot it through the chronograph. I want to see what it does. And then we might put a regular string on. This in here, like I said, this is just made this string. It's a big, heavy green, you know, it's Yucca string. So with 600 grain arrow, let's see what this thing will do. So the first shot is 129 on the first one.